Meanwhile, last November, CBS News exposed a hidden epidemic of suicide among military veterans. More than 6,000 in 2005 alone. That's about 120 veteran suicides every week. Now it turns out that even vets who get help from the VA are at risk. Our chief investigative correspondent, Armen Keteyian, has this exclusive report.
Whenever you go through war, you're going to change permanently and totally for the rest of your life.
Harold Pendergrass knows firsthand the hidden wounds of war. He served 2 tours in Vietnam.
I carried a suicide note around in my pocket for years.
At 57, this former Army soldier has tried to take his own life 3 times and says he constantly wrestles with thoughts of killing himself.
I'd sat around numerous times with a .44 in my mouth, and for some reason I just couldn't pull the trigger. I don't know why.
Now CBS News has obtained never-before-seen patient data from the Department of Veterans Affairs, detailing the growing number of suicide attempts among veterans recently treated by the VA. The data reveals a marked overall increase from 462 attempts in 2000 to 790 in 2007.
This is highly statistically significant.
Dr. Bruce Levin, head of the Biostatistics Department at Columbia University, is one of 3 experts who analyzed the data for CBS News.
I'd characterize it as something that deserves further attention. Overall, the data suggest about a 44% increase.
According to the experts, 2 age groups stood out between 2000 and 2007. First, ages 20 to 24, those likely to have served during the Iraq-Afghan wars. Suicide attempts rose from 11 to 47. And for vets ages 55 to 59, suicide attempts jumped from 19 to 117. In both age groups, the attempted suicides grew at a rate much faster than the rest of the VA patients. In addition, this VA study, also obtained exclusively by CBS News, reveals the increasing number of veterans who recently received VA services and still succeeded in committing suicide, rising from 1,403 suicides in 2001 to 1,784 in 2005, figures the VA has never made public.
These are incredible figures.
Congressman Bob Filner is chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. He's been critical of the VA's unwillingness to provide a full accounting of veteran suicides.
Does it surprise you that a study like that even exists?
Well, given the fact that we keep asking for data and they say we don't have any, yes, it surprises me.
Does that anger you?
Oh, yeah. If we can't get correct information, we can't do our job. We can't prevent every suicide, but you can prevent a whole lot of them, and it's our duty as a nation to do that.
The VA declined to speak on camera about this story, but in an email said it takes the issue of veteran suicide very seriously and has been doing a thorough data investigation to document the number of patient suicide attempts. They insist the patient suicide rates are consistent with national trends, despite recent studies that show veteran suicide rates substantially higher than non-veterans. Harold Pendergrass worries the VA remains ill-equipped to handle the next generation of veterans who will be fighting the horrors of war for decades to come.
If what the VA is doing is not working, then they need to change tactics. They need to listen to these guys and listen not only with their ears but with their heart.
Armen Keteyian, CBS News, Washington.
There are serious allegations tonight against the Department of Veterans Affairs that it tried to cover up an epidemic of suicide. CBS News chief investigative correspondent Armen Keteyian first exposed this epidemic last year, and tonight he has an exclusive follow-up.
In San Francisco federal court today, attorneys for veterans' rights groups accuse the VA of nothing less than a cover-up, deliberately concealing the real risk of suicide among veterans.
The system is in crisis, and unfortunately, the VA is in denial.
The charges were backed by these internal emails written by Dr. Ira Katz, the VA's head of mental health. In the past, Dr. Katz has repeatedly insisted while the risk of suicide among veterans is serious, it is not outside the norm.
There is no epidemic of suicide in VA.
But in this email to his top media advisor written 2 months ago, Dr. Katz appears to be saying something very different, stating our suicide prevention coordinators are identifying about 1,000 suicide attempts per month among veterans we see in our medical facilities. Dr. Katz's email was written shortly after the VA provided CBS News data showing there were only 790 attempted suicides in all of 2007, a fraction of Dr. Katz's estimate.
This 12,000 attempted suicides per year shows clearly, without a doubt, that there is a suicide epidemic.
And it appears that Dr. Katz went out of his way to conceal these numbers. First, he titled his email, "Not for the CBS News interview request." He opened it with "shh," as in keep it quiet, before ending with, "Is this something we should carefully address before someone stumbles on it?" Today, we showed the email to Congressman Bob Filner, who chairs the House Committee on Veterans Affairs.
This is disgraceful. This is a crime against our nation, our nation's veterans. They do not want to come to grips with the reality, with the truth.
And that's not all. Last November, when CBS News exposed an epidemic of more than 6,200 suicides in 2005 among those who had served in the military, Dr. Katz attacked our report.
Their number is not, in fact, an accurate reflection of the rate.
But it turns out they were, as Dr. Katz admitted in this email just 3 days later. He wrote there are about 18 suicides per day among America's 25 million veterans. That works out to be about 6,570 per year, which Dr. Katz admits in the same email is supported by the CBS numbers. In an email late today to CBS News, Dr. Katz said the reason why the suicide numbers were not released was because of questions over the reliability and consistency of the findings, and that there was no public cover-up involved. Armen, Keteyian, CBS News, Washington.